All right, so here I am, your common sense candidate for president of the United States. I'm announcing today that I'm here to run for the people. Only a certain group of people. You got to have some semblance of common sense.
Oh, well, you're screwed.
So I have like 10 people vote for me, and it's going to be awesome. Because we all know, it said I'm live on YouTube. That's nice. Appreciate that, phone.
Lag's going to vote for you.
Lag will definitely vote for me. It won't count, though, because he lives in Philadelphia. We know how the machine in Philadelphia works. So it's the thought that counts for Lag. So there you go. So who we got this morning? Phil's up bright and early, ready to talk college football. So if y'all don't know, they proposed a ruling. So right now, it's going to be a huge change in college football and college athletics in general. You know, right now you can, there's NIL, name, image, likeness, where advertisers can pay students. Well, now they have sent a proposal, the presidents or somebody, that the universities be able to just pay them and be done with it. And that's really going to make a lot of these universities, like he was mentioning the yokels from College Station. If you don't realize how much oil money and land grant money, Ron can tell us, Texas A&M is one of the richest universities in the country. There are lots of universities that don't have great boosters, and so this kind of levels the playing field. Because they have money, they just don't have active boosters. So,
doesn't that make them professionals, though?
Depends on who's asking. Just depends on who's asking. I would think that makes them employees, and that opens them up to a whole different can of worms about. You're gonna have some lawyer who decides that they need unemployment, and you're gonna find. So yeah, hey, morning, flip it good, Sean. Who else is here? James, Tom, Brian, Michigan girl. Good morning, Vintage Memories, Salem, New Hampshire, White Church. We're gonna skip over Craig. We don't tell him good morning. Tamara, James, Tactical C, and Lag. The selection committee is rigged. You're damn right it's rigged, and I have no problem with it. You see the idiots. That's the idiots of our government. That's why you can't trust either side. So what does DeSantis and crew in Florida think they need to do? They need to sue the NCAA committee on behalf of Florida State fans. You're not guaranteed anything. There's a set of criteria, and they judge based on the set. It's a beauty pageant, folks. The selection committee is a beauty pageant. And just face it. If you want to blame anybody, blame TCU. They lost 65-7 last year, and nobody wants to see that again. So when Florida State carried their third quarterback, went to Louisville, and they played a team in Louisville that it just got hammered by Kentucky, who had lost 5 in a row and is like 8th to 9th, 10th place in the SEC. And this is the best on one side of that conference. And Florida State comes up there in the first half with 1 first down. That game was unwatchable. It was awful. So there you go. That's all I'm gonna say.
I didn't even watch it.
That's all. We don't.
That's how bad it was.
It's more important stuff, folks. So normally we've been talking a lot of eBay lately. Now, as I've been selling more on eBay, of course I've been talking to eBay because that's where my focus is. But there was a notice and an update sent out from Amazon that I don't want you to miss. So I read the article this morning, and it starts off normal about changes in fees and how they're going to. There's now, right now you put 100 things into a box, you send it to a warehouse, and they ship it out wherever. Now Amazon has decided they're going to charge you if you don't send it individually to warehouses. They're going to charge you an extra fee for them to have to split it up. I mean,
that's the way they want you to send it.
That's the way they want you to send it, but now they are going to, because that it incurs such cost to ship between warehouses that.
But that's the system they set up.
But they said to offset some of that cost, we're going to lower some of the FBA fees. But yet you're lowering the fees, but not as much as you're charging the fees. So there's a net gain in your fees. So that is going to be so as FBA becomes more and more expensive, folks, unless you send smaller shipments in, and then that's even more expensive. So that's the
Sounds
first
like a
thing.
money grab.
It's all about a money grab. And so that was not the worst. As you keep reading down the article, there's another that talk about more fees and how fees are going to change. The very last paragraph says that early in 2024 we will be implementing a low inventory fee. And so they are going to determine if you have a low amount of inventory based on the sales of the item over 90 days, I believe, or whatever it is. And they are going to charge you extra fees because you are not keeping. So let's get this straight. Amazon is penalizing you and reducing your amount of storage if your items don't sell in 90 days. They want you to send it in 90 days. They want you to keep a bunch of inventory in there, enough to cover 90 days. But yet, if you don't have 30 days, they are now going to charge you extra to sell these items. So how many people on retail arbitrage, so many one-offs? Your one-offs, you're going to be, unless you have like one and get in and get out, because it's hard to have low inventory whenever you only had the one. But if you have a couple, I'm telling you, low inventory fees are going to be the way Amazon, see, eBay just lets you choose your own death by promoting, we're only at 15% fees. Well, give me 12, 15% promoted. So now you're at 25, 30% fee, and most people don't realize the fees they're paying. Amazon, on the other hand, just kind of cuts you with paper cuts. It's just,
unfortunately,
you realize, oh, wait a minute, unless you keep, and then Amazon's reports are awful. You have to go through business reports and all these other reports to find out what fees you actually paid. You can look at it. You can look at the transaction report on your payout, but if you sell 1,000 items, you're going to go look at each individual item to see what fees you paid per item. It gets.
Unfortunately, Lag and I came up with the same idea at the same time. What about booksellers? Most of their is one off.
What people don't realize, they started attacking booksellers a few years back. When I first started, if you had one-offs, there was no fees for storage or anything, and so booksellers were making a killing because you could go to a book sale, you could buy 100 different books, you could send them all in. There's no storage fees. That was awesome. And then Amazon goes, well, we're going to share the buy box much more frequently with other sellers because we've been running a monopoly on our own shit and charging you more for it. So we're going to give you the opportunity and privilege to earn the buy box, and Amazon's going to give it up. But we're going to double your fucking fees. And then after everybody looks at it for a little while, we're going to go back to doing the same shit we were. Go look at some of these listings Amazon's on and get Keepa, go to data, and go to buy box statistics and go, wait a minute. Amazon said they were going to share the buy box, but in the last 90 days, they've had the buy box 100% of the time. And they're not the lowest seller. And so you realize that was a lie. Just like I put the video up, and I've got a lot of flack for that. Prime shipping is 2-day shipping. Horse shit.
My wife, a couple years ago, ordered a T-shirt Prime. It took, I want to say 15. It came after Christmas. It was a shirt she wanted for Christmas. She ordered it in plenty of time, like the end of November, and it was 2-day Prime, and it came after Christmas. 2-day Prime bullshit sometimes.
Yeah, the old inventory placement fees. I'm telling you right now, folks. Like, you're 100% correct. FBM is looking better and better.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever go back to FBA now. Even though I'm not selling anything, I got one item now. But when I do, I think FBM's looking better and better, especially if you're a bookseller. I can't imagine if this is the case where they're going to charge you. Yeah.
So Bob T's got a good question, and well, maybe it's because they value your ex-wife more than you, Bob. Bob, maybe she is just really hot, and you're some ugly old dude. I don't know. Never met you before, and it's going to be location. Most of the time, when there's a difference in delivery dates, it's because of the location of the item. And it should be random. That's why it was shocking for that remote that I looked up and made a video on, because there were like 7 different sellers on this remote, and they were all 5 days. So it was like Amazon put them all in the same warehouse, which is just idiotic.
How about Bob? Bob, have it shipped to your ex-wife's house. See if it makes a difference.
And then hold your
And
nose,
go pick it up.
go pick it up from her, and then you're good.
I guarantee you, I will not have anything shipped to my ex-wife's house.
She's crazy. I thought she was crazy as hell.
Shh.
She doesn't
She
watch
might
us
be
on
listening. No, she doesn't watch this.
So, Land Shark, I understand that Prime shipping doesn't mean you get it in 2 days. It means 2-day shipping. But it doesn't mean if you order it on Sunday, it comes on Saturday. There's no 2 days involved in that. Somebody was arguing with me. It doesn't mean the handling, all that stuff. I'm like, the way they sold it is 2 days, 2-day shipping. So if I order it on Sunday, I get it on Wednesday. That's the way it's sold. 2 days in the middle, Monday, Tuesday, I get it on Wednesday. Not I ordered on Sunday, then Monday, then Tuesday, then Wednesday. We still haven't shipped the motherfucking remote you ordered. Oh, wait a minute. We're going to ship it Friday and get it here on Saturday. So how can they ship it on Friday, which is usually what they do, to get it here in 1 day, but they couldn't have shipped it on? Oh, and then somebody coming at me too. It's Christmas. You need to give them a break. They charge us more fees for Christmas to do this shit, you dumbasses.
I want you to go back in March and do the same video and see if it's the same thing.
They charge me more fees because they have more handling and they have more employees. They're supposedly prepared for this, and they penalize you for not being ready. Amazon needs to be held to the same standard. It's just, I'm tired of these platforms, saying one thing and doing something else. eBay, not as much, because eBay doesn't fulfill their own stuff. Amazon in the fulfillment game and really has a huge part in this and really controls a lot of, there's some conspiracy theorists, and I might be one of them out there, but I'm not on this subject. But just look at it. Based on the placement of your inventory in their system, they can destroy sellers based on where they put you in search and then where they hide your inventory. If they decided that your metrics weren't so good and that they wanted to put your remotes in the Alaska warehouse, and then nobody would buy them because you're down in search and your shipping is just absolutely insane, even though it's Prime, they have the ability to destroy a seller, whether we want to believe it or not.
Is that a tuning fork?
Yeah.
Laura, low inventory fee. It's coming. Don't worry. So if you want anything. So Laura Russ, welcome to Huntsville, Alabama, in the chat. I know you build bundles and that kind of stuff. So, you like to test bundles. You need to see if they're going to work, if people are going to buy them. Then how about this? Once they start buying them, all of a sudden your supplier is a couple of days later or whatever, and you're now low inventory. I don't know how, they haven't given us the details, so I don't know how many. I don't know if low inventory is going to affect everything you sell, just that item, how long the low inventory lasts. It's any way they can take $1 from you, folks. It's coming. Yeah, B-Dog, selling a swap meet sounds better. Josh, I 100% agree with you. So you're newer to Reseller, 3 years or so. Man, the flexing's been going on a long time. I don't think that has a lot to do with it. I hear you say that, but yes, this bearded guy somewhere did a crazy video in 2018 that caused a lot of people to start doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't think that's got a lot to do with it. If you look at Instagram and all these shoe sellers and all this stuff and people throwing the numbers, it's not just Amazon sellers. Let's see. Prime means I should have it. There needs to be some. See, they put out the problem. Michigan Girl with Prime is they deliberately make it vague. So it used to be 2 days, and now they go to 2, 3, 5. But it depends on where you read it at. But even on their website, it still says Prime shipping is 2-day shipping. But they kind of neglect and don't talk about when the 2 days starts, what the 2 days are. So they'll technically tell me on that remote, with your Prime, you got 2-day shipping, even though we had 5 days handling in front of it. It's business. You're right, David. Business Prime does get you a lot of big discounts. I'm just going through the chat. I'm going to be behind for a while. Baseball, I do not charge shipping on FBM items. Um,
Me either.
it's okay. So I'm a simple mind. If y'all have watched me for a long time, I do get a little excited every now and then, but math is not one of my greater skills. And so when I'm doing repricers and trying to compare prices, um,
Wait, whoa. Math isn't one of your greatest skills. What did you go to college for? Just curious.
mathing, accounting, but I counted on being able to carry. I've been counting on being able to carry a calculator around wherever I went, but my teacher said I couldn't carry a calculator around. I'd never be able to carry a calculator, so math is hard.
Yeah, well, my teachers lied to me, and I am
anyway,
still upset about it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So anyway, so if I want to compare prices, so if I got an item that's $9.99 and I want to compare if I'm the lowest, if I'm whatever, or if I'm setting up my repricer, I want to be able to not have to mentally add every item that I'm trying to deal with. What's the shipping on that one? What's this? So and I'm also a big boy and understand that whether I sell it for $9.99 or if I sell it for $5.99 with $4 shipping, it's the same. There's no getting around the fees they charge anymore. So so there you go. So that's why I don't. Mark says he doesn't understand how to fix stranded inventory. That is a conversation that needs not to be on. It says missing SKU error. For the most part, you just need to call it. But if it's a missing SKU error and you can't go on there and relist it or create a new listing and it keeps their same thing, you're going to have to call it back or call in and get some help with it. Hustle and grow. You're 100% correct. FBA fees they can only really mess with only FBA fees they can do is they can take some of the discount away for shipping, or they can up the act fee. But then if they up the fee, it's the fee for everything. Because remember, the FBM fee is the base fee for FBA before they start fulfillment, and so what are they going to do? Charge me to put my own thing in a box? So the FBM, you have a lot more control, and that's why I've done a lot more of it lately, even though I'm not crazy about shipping.
I love the idea of FBA, and when it works great. But when they keep changing things like this,
but if you're small,
you got to ask yourself: is it going to be cheaper for me to ship this much? Well, you got to have the storage area first, which you do.
So you're a catch-22 with FBA, because if you don't have enough items that really move down there, they reduce the amount of inventory. And sure, you can. Okay, so I've got a great opportunity, and I don't have the inventory space in the warehouse, but I really need to send it in. Amazon, through the goodness and kindness of the heart, will allow you to purchase more storage for a fee. Don't sell this inventory through in 90 days. They will gladly charge you extra because it's not a high moving item. Oh my gosh, I made a calculation error. This stuff sold more frequently. We will now charge you extra because you don't have enough inventory. Folks, it is getting extraordinarily complicated to run FBA correctly. I mean, you're going to need some kind of rocket science degree in order to figure out where the sweet spot is. Oh my God, if I don't send these 10 items in, oh, wait a minute, do I put them in the same box or do I save a little money by shipping them to 10 different places? Because now they're going to charge me extra money for placement. I'm telling you, it's a death of a lot of cuts, folks.
And if you choose, is it still when you choose to ship it to different places? You don't even get to choose where you ship it to.
They said they're going to make it where there's a free option, and that's coming as part
because it would be nicer. I mean, and a lot of people have asked about it for a long time. How come I can't ship it to the warehouse that's down the street? That kind of thing.
That's a great point, Steve. So, okay, Amazon, if you're going to charge me the inventory placement anyway, there is a warehouse out on 565 in Huntsville, Alabama. I should be able to pull up and hand you a box then.
Right, that kind of thing. As long as you make a schedule, you can make a schedule with them. Hey, I'm coming at 10 o'clock on Monday, or whatever, and they have this schedule sheet. That would be great.
So, Lag says just send in 500 units of each SKU. You'll be good. I just explained the fallacy of that argument.
For a retail arbitrage seller, that is impossible for the most part.
Right. So Josh is right. They can and do. And so, Josh, I've watched that. So over the past 3 or 4 years, as COVID and everything's gone through, when they when Amazon struggles with warehouse storage, it's absolutely amazing how one of their solutions is to give more visibility to FBM sellers. And so you'll go through periods of time and you'll notice it where I'm selling a lot more FBM for the same items, and you'll think, is it my pricing? Is my repricer working better? A lot of it is the fact that Amazon has tweaked their algorithm to favor the FBM seller a little more. It happened a lot during COVID, as their warehouses were full, as they struggled with warehouses as warehouses emptied, and now they wanted, they were struggling to get product out, so they'd want me to ship it instead. So Amazon does play a lot of games with visibility, for 100% for sure.
Seems to me like they want their FBA sellers to be more like John and less like us. I assume that it comes down to warehouse space. The bigger sellers sell more, they get
so
priority.
Hustle and Grow agree with it, with that that's pretty much what they do. Talking about good morning. Lag went to school for rocket science. Nice, Lag.
Bob, I see your comment, and yes, I agree. Those days were wonderful. Well-concealed cash in the mail was the best thing ever.
The problem with that, though, Bob, is we all remember, if you were a dishonest person, I never got the cash. How that argument was so much. How many times were bad? It was easy for bad sellers. It was easy.
It was.
Create account for nothing. You didn't have to ship it. Just take a few pictures.
There was no seller protections back in the day. I got scammed out of it wasn't even my item. This is why I don't do consignment now. I was selling for my brother-in-law, and the guy said he never got it, and PayPal gave him his money back. This is the very first. PayPal had no seller protections back then.
So that is that's 100% 100% true, Tamara. That's a weakness of FBA is right. They give you a date and time and say, hey, we don't guarantee we'll even unload it right now. I think that date's, have we come to it yet? It was just usually around December 4th, December 5th that they tell you that they're going to ship operations from receiving to shipping. So there won't be as many employees receiving. So expect long delays. Your item is probably not going to be available for Christmas if you don't get it to a warehouse by the 4th, I think, somewhere there. Somebody who knows the date can stick it in the chat, but I didn't see the date this year because I haven't done FBA shipment in 3 months. So Timothy, that's not going to happen. Timothy says he wished they'd favor the individual over the business for the buy box a little more.
Doesn't make financial sense for them. Okay,
doesn't make financial sense. Remember, so I think Josh and John were on their podcast, eBay Power Hour, had that discussion. I believe that's where I was listening to it, where they talked about, so what's better if I have an item and I discount it heavily to get the real low price and don't promote it, so that I try to manipulate it in search, or do I put it at a higher price and promote it, and then eBay gets the money? And I think Josh's point was, which one makes eBay more money is the one they're going to favor. And so the higher price. So that's why, and he's 100% correct. So go search for anything. And especially if you're researching prices, you'll see this. The first item you come up with, you go, holy shit, I have found something that's really going to make money. And then you'll see the little word says sponsored, because you see the listing. The very first one on the listing is the one that's priced probably double what the item is worth. But somebody is trying to use sponsored listing and fees to get up in the search, counting on that person clicking it and buying it without looking at the ones below it that are half the price. Amazon
they're banking on an Amazon buyer mentality when they're
So Amazon is not going to, they're counting on a business and having plenty of inventory, that kind of stuff, where not that individuals can't, but
I would, if I were Amazon and you had a seller like John and a seller like you or me or you, because I don't sell much now, I would favor John because Correct. It just makes more sense. He brings in much more revenue. More revenue.
I don't like it, but it makes smart business sense. And at the end of the day, folks, remember, you're running a business, they're running a business, and the business world is not always fair. The word I'm really to the point in my life, in my 50s here, where the word fair should be struck from our vocabulary. That word should just be xed out. You know,
Yeah,
it is used as a weapon for the most part. The word fair, it should be gone from our vernacular. But
if you were just any other business, and you had a customer who was willing to pay you $100 a day for a
mhm.
product, as opposed to a customer that was willing to pay $1 a day for a product, which one are you going to favor? Which one is going to get the special treatment?
What's up, buddy? It's Wednesday, and I just come to tell y'all. I didn't come to tell y'all nothing. No Merry Christmas or nothing, because I don't like nobody. Isn't that right? Is that what you want to say? Pretty much it. Good job, Phoebe. Go Chase Franklin. Yeah. So Marcy, I get you. I get it. She says that she wished that the feedback matters.
Feedback
Metric,
doesn't matter on any platform.
so the one thing I know about metrics with Amazon, and I'm beginning to believe the same thing with eBay, is metrics don't really matter unless they need to use it against you.
Exactly.
Metrics are a sword that is only used against the seller. I don't, and then if it's a positive thing to reward you for doing great things.
Well, metrics are also only part of the picture. You can have great customer feedback, but still not be a great seller. It's just the people who chose to leave you feedback chose to, you can deliver on time, but deliver garbage, So metrics are only part of the picture. Doing this Spark stuff, this Walmart grocery deliver, people get deactivated. But my metrics were good. My metrics mean very little if you're doing stupid shit. You didn't deliver somebody's groceries, or you took them home with you. You delivered them the next day, or some stupid crap like that. Yeah, you're gonna that one thing. It doesn't matter how good metrics are. So metrics mean less than performance. It's an indicator of performance for sure, but it's not. It's not the end all be all.
I don't have the heat on out here. It's hot. I'm stripping for y'all now. Boom chicken now, wow, whatever. I got excited, got hot, but it's there. At the end of the day, guys, you got to remember, they're going to do what they think is best, for Amazon, for eBay, and the one that disappoints me more is eBay, because eBay really is supposed to be in the middle. Their job is to be a facilitator of a transaction between me and my customer, and they are playing favorites. They are telling us that there are categories that they're looking to sell more of and not lose. And I'm sitting here thinking, so why are y'all playing favorites if you're just the middleman? You shouldn't care what is sold on your platform. You should be servicing the buyers and the sellers. And their idea of, when you bring in these hedge fund managers, the focus becomes away from, how do we service our customer, which is the customer is, don't forget eBay, that sellers are your customer, and your idea of servicing the customer is, how can I squeeze more money out of them? It's not how do I attract more buyers. It's not how do I make the platform better, for the most part, because your changes your platform, or how do you squeeze more money out of sellers. And so that's I expect it from Amazon, because Amazon is a competitor and they have a significant competitive advantage on their own platform, and they wield that sword mightily, and that is not a surprise. But eBay, it doesn't have any skin in that game, and they still do the same thing because they are trying their hardest. So here's a wild and crazy idea. Come at me in the comments. eBay, I can fix some of your problems and part of your issue. If you want to be Amazon so bad, adopt some of Amazon's rules. Folks, if you're not aware and you don't sell on Amazon, your return policy, so you know how many items I have no returns on? Only the ones Amazon allows, because I must match Amazon's return policy. And so that means that food product can't be returned, and hazmat or hard, But other than that, you must match their 30-day free return. So eBay should do the same thing. Everybody should be required to do 30-day free returns on just like Amazon does on most items, except for food, except for you want to end some of the griping and complaining.
You're never going to win that argument with some people. I'm telling you.
There you go.
How
about
I 100% agree with the return thing. You should have at least a 30-day free return policy.
See, I don't think eBay sellers, and I don't know how many of them I'm talking in this chat, how many of them they listen to think this way. But when I'm looking to buy something and I scan down and I want to know, I look at the feedback. I don't really care. If they're 96, 97 or above, they're fine. And then as long as they're not a 0, and then I look for the location because I want something, because I want to get a kind of an idea of if the range is 7 days, and where in that 7 days the item's going to get here. And then I want to know, do they take returns? If you don't take returns, I immediately hit the X and go to the next person. If you don't take returns on eBay and me as a buyer, I will not buy from you. Understand that I'm not alone. If you do not take returns, that tells me your customer service sucks. You never make mistakes. You're a conceited SOB, and you think that you're always right. And how do you take care of that? By saying, you buy this, screw you.
Right. I have not had. We adopted free returns immediately once they, made that a thing, and I haven't. It's never come back to bite me. 0 times. Now I've gotten returns for sure. The good thing about free returns is negative feedback, as long as you offered that return. So that's another reason why feedback really isn't an indicator, because those of us with free returns can get negatives removed a lot easier than people without it. That kind of thing.
So eBay, flipping goodies, eBay has the best overall seller protection. I'd agree with that. You don't have, folks, understand this. You don't have any protection on Amazon. A lot of people go, their next logical step is, well, I'm going to sell on Amazon. They changed this last year or the year before, FBM returns to match FBA returns. So when an item they want to return for whatever their stupid reason is, I changed my mind. The dog scratches butt, so I'm returning this. Whatever the reason is, soon as it gets scanned by UPS or the post office, they get their money. 90% of the items, their money is returned to them on first scan, just like FBA. And so you have you come back and you get a box of dog turds. You have to fight like hell just to. And Amazon, you can open claims and all this stuff. Half the time you have to appeal them when they rule against their own policies. People want to know, Beard, you don't sell as much on Amazon anymore. Why eBay? eBay has so many problems. Every platform has problems, folks. It's what problems are you willing to live with? That's why I tell you all the time, do what you love. If you love, like I do, finding the stuff at yard sales, if you love the hunt for those kind of items, you need to figure out how to make the platforms that you sell on work for you and pick the right platforms that bring you the most happiness. Because I can promise you, eBay and Amazon don't care about your overall mental health, your happiness, or anything. They're trying to figure out how to squeeze more money out of you. You're responsible for your own happiness. I hate to be the one to tell you. All right, so Tom says that eBay for charges for faster shipments. That's 100% correct. Flip Sports Guy says that's for the desperate. I just do weekly whatever. They just drop it every week, so I don't want to sue. Yeah, hustle man, you get benefits for doing free returns, and so as the returns have gone up. So what's the difference between eBay and Amazon? Amazon, puts you through all these hoops. On eBay, you just change what you do. So what do you do different, Beard? I now charge shipping for everything. So as returns have gone up, the customer still sees the same price. If I'm selling a $10 item, except for items I got a bunch of big girl panties, they're all still free ship because I want you to buy 3, 4, 5 of them, and I don't want to have to combine shipping and all that crazy. So if you buy a can of box fixer for $9.99 plus $5 shipping. That's $14.99. And you decide this box fixer is the wrong color and you want to send it back. Send it back. I don't care. But that $5 is not coming back to you. I unchecked the box or it's never checked to begin with. You don't get your original shipping back. If I have made a mistake, if I have screwed up somehow, I will give you your shipping back. That is the exception. If it is my fault, I am honest enough for the customer. And I think everybody should be this way. Unfortunately, they're not. If I screw up and make the mistake, I will give you a shipping back. Just send it back. It's my fault. I apologize. Just send me the item back. I screwed up. But so the partial repair or restore no return. Okay, Bob. So I will buy that for partial repair. I don't buy anything partial repair, but if I would, that would be the exception because that's my exception for returns. If I sell a broken item, I don't offer returns. That is my one exception. If I sell a broken item, so I've got a mini displayer up there. It's listed for 50 plus shipping. I put in the description, powers on, takes a disc. It kicks out every single disc saying error. I don't know how to fix this. Whatever it is, 4 parts only. And I listed it in the description, 4 parts only. I listed it condition 4 parts only. I listed it 3 places 4 parts only, and then no returns. That's my exception.
Same here. No, that's probably an easy fix, but we won't go there.
All right, so so Tom said he had a seller wouldn't take returns, and they gave it. Then you had an ethical, honest seller, and you got very fortunate.
Last night I got a message that I sent the wrong thing, and it was my fault. I messed up, and I offered to send the right thing or give them a refund, and they can keep the thing that I sent. And it was only a $10 item, so it's not a big deal. But there's obviously going to be a limit to where, okay, I want the thing back monetarily if I think I can sell it again and get more money. But on a 10 or a 15 or a $20 item, just keep the damn thing. I'll give you your money back.
If Harlan and I have talked about this once, we've talked about this 1 million times offline. There's so many sellers out there, and it's even been exasperated now because I don't think people realize the eBay debacle over this past year and a lot of these things have put a lot of sellers close to not making it anymore. There are a lot more sellers now with the economy and everything else. It has gotten much tougher as money has gotten tighter and people really scrutinize what they spend money on. Look, if you follow Casey, Rockstar Flipper on Facebook, he listed out all the stuff that has gone up this year in his life from, and it's just all services, just because they can, and it's amazing. I don't know how many people stop and look at how much extra you're paying for car insurance this year, how much extra you're paying for homeowners insurance, how much extra you're paying for all the different taxes and all the different fees. All your streaming services, all your internet, all this stuff has gone crazy up. And so people don't, if you're selling, until you clear the return period, the money is not yours. I mean, technically it's in your possession, it's yours, but you could lose it at any of the time in your return period. So I don't think people see it that way. And I don't think we do a good job as influencers of reminding people. I'll show you the video of the hat resizer, that big Dome King Ulm hat.
I think it's cool.
I took an offer of $275 plus shipping for it.
Nice.
Until once he receives it, and then 30 days from that date, that money is not 100% the beers. I understand that, and a lot of people just don't.
Sometimes, even myself, there was times that I've cut it close. I've always had the money to refund people, though, which is good. But yeah, it's a mentality.
Mr. Sadie, scream this from the mountain, folks. Longer returns are actually better for you. It's psychology. There's a reason why Amazon. I'm shocked that eBay does. eBay. You want to know how to get a competitive advantage. eBay, do some of these things. Amazon purposely in the middle of October says, you know what, all returns till the end of January. every seller is going to match this on our platform. Buy with confidence. You can buy your Christmas gifts now. I don't think even Amazon sellers realize what kind of benefit this is. And because they know psychologically that once you start using something, return periods and, items being returned, the longer the return period, the less likely an item is to come back, folks. It is a proven thing. Search it on the internet and read about it. It's 100% true.
Set it and forget it type thing. You forget it's there
You
because you set it on a shelf somewhere.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
I've done it. I've gone past the return policy just because I forgot about it, and because you think you have time. I do not almost never return anything because 90% of the time it's my fault. I've ordered the wrong thing.
So Tactical Z, if you want to put that in the chat and see if you can get some of these folks to come to your OnlyFans,
Have at it.
have at it. Morning, Dawn. Mary too, if you're awake. Who has better seller protection, eBay or Amazon? I'm going to say I think it's eBay for sure. eBay allows you more choices. eBay allows you have things that tools that you can use, things you can do. Amazon,
at the very least, you can get a hold of somebody at eBay. At the very least, when you have an issue, you can do eBay for business or whatever, but you can get a hold of somebody.
Amazon says that they do it this way, and you're going to do it this way, or you can go away. And so you really don't have a lot of control. You have a little bit more control FBM because you can open claims and do these kind of things and actively try to get money and try to win cases. But FBA, remember, when you're doing FBA, one of the little conditions in there is you give Amazon the authority to make the decision on a return. The return is final. And so if 6 months down the road, if somebody goes, this is the crappiest screwdriver I've ever bought. It broke the first time I used it. I just hadn't used it, and I want to return or get a refund on it. And you see a charge on your account that for $9.99, and go, I wonder what that is. Start looking into it. Amazon made the choice to give that customer, because if you bitch loud enough on Amazon, they will give you your money back no matter what, because they're not giving their own money away. They're giving your money away. So then all of a sudden you've got a $9.99 fee for a return, and you're like, I didn't have a return. You go, oh, wait a minute, it's way outside the return period. I mean, I've seen it where it's over a year, and they've you know what, they've given the money back. It's absolutely insane that what the customer service on Amazon would do. And you know what your recourse is? You gave them final authority at FBA. You don't have any recourse. You can open cases, you can yell, you can scream, you can make videos, you can do whatever. They don't care.
Oh, I sold something.
Steve, the non-reseller, sold something? What?
Yeah. $8.49. I'm rich.
You're rich.
Plus shipping. No, actually, that one has no. So I bought a lot of colored pencils back in the day. And I realized on eBay that you can get more money if you separate colors and sell just color individually,
Sean,
like blue, green.
It's the last paragraph, Sean. I don't know if you're reading the right email. I was reading the email. It was posted in the Facebook group, in what's his name's Facebook group, Ed's Facebook group.
I didn't get that email, so I haven't seen it yet. And I didn't look in Ed's group.
So I don't buy anything Walmart's third-party sellers. If it's not Walmart, I don't buy it. Actually, if it's not in a store, I generally don't buy from Walmart. I don't know how many people think that way. I know it's a growing platform. I don't sell on Walmart, but third-party sellers are using the FBA. I know for a fact when I've looked over there, they're using the FBA model. If Walmart doesn't have it, they can charge whatever they want to. I know Walmart is now doing some high-price things where they're starting. Remember, Walmart is way behind, and so they are seeing what Amazon and the others are doing, and they're slowly modeling their model to their. But I don't know that their platform is their priority. I think John's right. I think Walmart's want to be the local warehouse, distributing warehouse, and they want to keep people like Steve bringing you stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense for them. Yeah,
they have a different.
How many packages go out of my local Walmart a day? It's tremendous.
Take
Not
a listen.
Groceries, packages.
So eBay should have taken a lesson from Walmart. So what is Walmart doing? Walmart is offering their own service like that. They're attracting different sellers, so they have more items for sale on their website. So but that's not the most important thing to them, because where is Walmart's competitive advantage? Walmart's competitive advantage is they got 12 of them here. There's Walmart's damn near everywhere, and so their competitive advantage is they can get it to you uh, much quicker, because they don't have a middleman. They have an app that says, "Yo, Steve, come get this crap," and Steve and Marcia jump into little hamster cars and bring it to you.
Wait, what?
The little hamster cars.
Okay, so I've defended that Kia so many times. there is one issue. When I have the seats up, there is not enough room in that car. The seats down, it's a lot. So I finally concede that maybe I should have got a little bit bigger car for what I'm doing. But it works still.
They're talking about boxes.
Bob, it depends on how much it's snowing.
Reginald Warren, if UPS breaks a first class item, they won't reimburse you for shipping. There's insurance on the item now. There's no such thing as first class shipping. Please get the terminology correct. It is ground advantage.
Ground advantage.
Ground advantage carries. I don't know anybody that's filed a return on ground advantage, but you have automatic insurance on that item. So if I don't know what steps they have you go through, Reginald, but they should. Technically, I believe first class would only be a stamp now. If they actually had it, that would be a stamp. So if you break a letter. But yeah, it's got insurance on it, Reginald, so you should be able to talk to someone and file a claim. If you pack, has anybody seen, do they have rules about how, so if you file a claim against UPS, they will look at the package, and there's rules about 2 inches all around and all that stuff. And if they think you have packed it wrong, they won't give you they will not honor anything. I don't know.
I have had really good luck with the USPS with insurance claims. I had to do a bunch of them back during the pre-COVID days, but post-COVID, I've heard that a lot of people are having more trouble. I haven't had to use them.
So sky's the limit. The one thing I would tell you about the Dyson vacuum is, for parts only, it's big. Now, remember the shipping. Do you have a box? How are you going to ship this, buddy? You're a new seller. Have you considered what it costs? Remember, if you use the post office, anything over 30 inches, they charge you a $10 fee. And so you need to be prepared to send a UPS, FedEx. The better question is what parts can you get off that machine?
Yep.
Look at the Dyson, the particular model it is. How much is that canister worth? How much is the handle worth? How much is the bottom part, the brushes and stuff worth? It's not for parts only. Strike out the only word. Have you sold a Dyson vacuum? Have you sold Dyson vacuum parts? The parts are where the money is. You'll be shocked when you look at that canister and go, somebody will give me $30, $40 for the canister. People drop those things. Things break. They wear out over time. They don't want to buy another one. Times are tough. They'd rather spend a third of the money to keep using what they've got. They're used to it. They like it. Versus that model might not be made anymore.
I have a good thing for Sky's the Limit to try. Go back to that Goodwill if it's still there. Ask to speak to the manager. Tell them you run a vacuum repair shop and you would like to purchase it to repair. See if that works.
So Ping G says, and I see this morning, Ping G. UPS only refunds the item the price of a seller files a claim.
It's always been that way, yes.
Yeah, so that would be a benefit of free shipping. Then, so if you do offer free shipping, your item price is the item price. So
that is true. And for proof, I've always just sent them the eBay screenshot of the eBay sale, and they've always been okay with that for proof of what the item was worth.
So they're talking about homeowners. Carlin's Harlan insurance went down. You probably got the plus 50 discount, Harlan.
55 plus, I thought. 65 plus, maybe.
So folks, this is, a lot of times at this show, I count on you guys being so smart to listen to this. I don't break things down, but I'm going to try my best to break some things down
I
for
did
you.
the same.
How do you get a competitive advantage? Joanna says when everyone was shocked about 30 days, she went to 60 days.
Yep.
Is she crazy as hell?
Nope.
I would tell you she's crazy fabulous. And why would I say that? Remember, I told you the psychology of the returns, and now the buyer is looking at the exact opposite of the other. I've got 60 days. I can use this. They'll get used to it. You want less returns? Go to 60. Don't stop at 30. Don't say none. Don't listen. The people that say no returns are brand new sellers. They're scared to death of what they're doing. They have no clue. They don't understand. They've never done this before.
Some of them are established sellers, but
there's some established sellers that do it too. And every time I listen to those influencers, I generally unsubscribe, because if you can't understand something as simple as returns and how it works and how it benefits your business. Remember, I spent a video 3 or 4 weeks ago, and the whole point of the premise of the video was make different decisions because you are a business owner. Take your emotions out of it. Make a decision that is good for the business. A decision that is good for the business means accepting returns, instilling confidence in your buyer, sell more items, because the buyer is much more confident if there's an issue you're going to take care of.
somebody wants me to finish my pencil story. I thought I did finish it, but we'll start again. I bought 5,000. I don't know, probably 2,500 12 packs of Crayola colored pencils. Most of them went into Amazon. For some reason, I wasn't getting the buy box I got the buy box for a long time on the one listing, and then all of a sudden I didn't get the buy box anymore. So I got all these colored pencils sitting around. I had to recall it eventually. Then I was looking around eBay, and people separate the colors out. So you sell 12 blues, 12 reds, 12 greens. So I did that for a little while, and then we found a listing on Amazon where it was a 2-pack, and then I sent them all back in, the ones that I hadn't separated out. You're not making a ton of money selling Crayola pencils on eBay, by the way. It's just not
So,
much
Carol,
money.
you're 100% right. Amazon gives you a lot more sales than eBay. You sell volume; it is different, and I think that's the direction they're going. I truly don't think they care whether you're a small or a large seller. They want, some of their fees are about inventory management, or designed. They are penalizing you for how negatively affecting the customers. If you have a low inventory, that means the customer's not going to be able to get the item, and so I don't necessarily. It makes a better YouTube title to say they're out to get you, but they're just making the rules much more. You need a slide rule calculator and a graphing calculator and all kinds of stuff to track fees on Amazon.
I think really what it does in the end is make you choose way more wisely on what you want to sell over there. That's all. FBA.
I can't agree more. 100%. It makes the evaluation of a product much more difficult, because you not only now do you have to understand how fast it sells, how much it's in demand, what's the 90-day supply, how often you should send them in, but is it even, now you're going to add, is it even worth it based on how much effort? It adds more effort to each item that you now sell.
And you're going to have to be 100% on top of your back end too. Delete the products when there's no more of them, all that stuff.
Who's the largest beneficiary? John has an inventory management that he pays for. There's a lot of these that have come up that took steps above the regular inventory lab, and now look at your inventory and tell you based on. I mean, these programs are expensive, folks, and so they're kind of the all-in-one packages. Like I think John uses one that does his reprice and does everything, including tells him when to ship more in and how much to ship in. The inventory management software that can take into account all Amazon's rules and demand and how you're selling. I really think they're the biggest beneficiary.
I'd like to know how many books are actually in the Amazon warehouses. I bet you it's in the high millions. There's so many booksellers out there. So and they kind of opened up the DVD category, and it's a lot easier to get in. So there's so many of those in there. And I think that they're doing these things because of that reason. There's so much crap in the warehouses that they want to encourage us not to send in crap. And so by charging a fee, a low inventory fee, they're That's how they're accomplishing it.
So
And it
lag,
makes them more money.
so lag, subscribe to Tactical Z. So there, you've already got customers there, Tactical Z on your OnlyFans. So enjoy your new adventure. Speaking of the pimps,
Pimps.
here's the Hall of Fame retired pimp right here. Did they give you any ceremony when you retired the purple outfit and are no longer in the pimping service?
The outfit is not retired. That could come out at any time.
But then you just be a fake.
A what?
You just be a fake pimp. Then all the ladies would know you're not available.
That's true. That's true.
That's teasing, and that's not fair.
It's not the pimp that goes out and offers the services. It's just saying.
Yeah, Brian, that's what we're talking about.
Okay, so Bob, you have proved me wrong, Bob. In the category of ex-wives, I don't think you want a return policy. Harlan and Steve would both tell you that they would agree with it, no returns.
He's saying it didn't come with a return policy. Well, if it didn't come, you're screwed, man. My ex-wife came with a return policy, and I returned it. Although she still has a way of.
Yeah, I like those videos. You'll see one every now and then with somebody bitching about it, and it's and then show the in-laws talking about they tried to take her back and they wouldn't take her back.
I had a situation like that. That is truly the case. Her and her parents invited me to family functions for years after we were divorced, but I chose not to go. Obviously,
I wonder what a pimp return would look like. Ew.
Hustle man, I don't think that it's overrated. It's just extraordinarily different, and you need a proper evaluation of the platform. For somebody like John and what John sells and the things he does, it's incredible. Amazon's an incredible opportunity. eBay is an incredible opportunity. If you sell the right stuff and are a social person, you can be a wonderful Poshmark seller. Whatnot is a great opportunity. I get a message last night from somebody showing me a Whatnot on Instagram where the person sold 300, how many thousands?
300 and something thousand. Yeah.
And shoes on Whatnot. Yeah. It's absolutely about evaluate, find the place that works for you, and then understand those platforms. The point I'm making with talking about Amazon more this morning is that they're the ones making changes. They're the ones that's going to.
I think Amazon's not for me anymore. It used to be, but I'll sell there still, but not like I did, because eBay's more my style.
Yeah, Brian, no worries, man. We just keep plugging in. Glad you're still having success. It's good to see you today. Yes, so Steve, there it is. 90-day total, not this year. That's the 90-day total on Whatnot.
225. Yeah, if you followed them from the beginning, you've seen their whole story. They started selling shoes from the trunk of their car.
Yep.
Going and meeting people, selling one pair at a time.
Sounds like John with his jeans.
And
selling out of the back of the trailer.
Yeah, they've come a long way.
Yes, I saw that Sky's the Limit had a pair of shoes that they said didn't authenticate. I've never had a pair that didn't make it through. So
yeah, me either. I've only ever had one pair go to authentication, but
I've had 6 or 7.
A lot of the time, they have really strict rules on the authentication process. And if it's supposed to come with that tag you said, and it doesn't have the tag, they're not gonna let it go through. Now, if you put that in the description, no tag, then you'll have a better chance.
So Jarvis says he likes selling on Walmart. I didn't say Walmart's bad. I just said Walmart's going to be different, and it's not their 100% priority. But it's an opportunity. If you have items that do well, find the outlet for your item, and that is a difficult task. If you have options, and it can be a make or break for an item. If you can look at an item and go, man, there's nothing in this, but change platforms and all of a sudden, the item becomes very, very viable as a selling item. So, it's a big part of the decision on your inventory is where do I sell this stuff.
Walmart's biggest deal is that they're going to be able to get it to you even faster than Amazon, because if it's their item, if it's something that's sold in stores, because people will order it and I'm delivering it within the hour sometimes. I don't usually do the package deliveries, but I do on occasion. And they'll come to the door like, I didn't expect that today. That's where Walmart's going to shine in the future, as opposed to the third party stuff they do. My son ordered a bed from Walmart from a third party seller. It took 10 days. So,
So
I don't know what
Sports guy is. He's saying that he does online dispensing at Walmart and orders. It's insane, and he's got another.
It is insane. I peeked into the back room. You should just see how many packages they send out a day. It's crazy.
So when you get there, Steve, do you go inside and how do you pick up your items?
The where you pull up, where they put it in your car.
So you just tell them whatever
they
number.
Load the car, and you have a driver code.
Okay.
You pull up to a spot. It comes up on your phone. I don't know. You're not familiar with DoorDash.
Phil was asking about it. So
you get an offer on your phone. You choose whether to take it or not. You show up to one of the parking spots. You show in the app. It'll say what spot you're in, or you can pick what spot you're in, and they come out and load your car, and then you go deliver it. You don't have. There are shopping orders where I go in and shop for people, but the pickup orders are right at same as the customers pick them up.
So John Jones says he buys a lot with Walmart Plus. Interesting how many orders ship from random stores across the country instead of warehouses. That's the you love or hate Walmart for their selling a lot of Chinese stuff that that they don't do. For those of us old enough to remember, Walmart in the 80s was, man, everything was made in the USA, made in America. That was old man Sam Walton's. He built that business on made in America, and now it ain't nothing they're selling there hardly. But
I think in the future, when people understand that Walmart can get it to you quicker than Amazon nowadays,
their management is taking advantage of their opportunity. They've done a nice job where eBay totally wants Amazon and has neglected some of their strengths, and with their they could have easily forced customer service on sellers and really made the experience of buying on eBay a much more personal experience, and done other things. They stuck to trying to be Amazon, and I think they've lost their way. I mean, they're not going anywhere, but I think the opportunity they've lost. Where Walmart, on the other hand, is going. They've looked at it and go, what do we do best, and how do we multiply that ability to get on our strengths. Let's see.
Dustin Floyd's said he's been doing a lot of affiliate marketing and it's starting to pick up for him. That may be the future for him. There's a lot of
absolutely.
There's a lot of different ways to do that. There's a lot of money in that, no doubt.
I'm probably way the hell behind. 8:50. What time is it? I'm only 13 minutes behind. That's winning. I'm skipping a bunch of the lag and Craig nonsense. I will catch up.
I'll let you catch up. I'm not going to go ahead of you there.
So sky's the limit. Yes, they do this every year. So they certain ones, and once you figure out which ones are easy, the easiest way to do it is if you keep up with Walgreens or CVS, whichever ones they put on clearance are generally are the ones that are not coming back. So that's generally a tell. Items that go on clearance are from a major name brand that puts an item on clearance at a Walgreens or a major retailer. That's generally a great sign. Sean loves whatnot. So Bob T says, what are you looking at under the microscope? He tests and repairs circuit boards. So he's running tests on boards to make sure they work. And then if they don't work, he's got to figure out why. Maybe it's a broken weld or whatever
Stuff
it
like
is.
that. Solder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Small
Well-
parts, tiny parts.
And not to mention, look what he's got in his hands. He's old like me. We don't go. Neither one of us has always got a pair of reading glasses somewhere. That's terrible.
I actually used to do that kind of work that Harlan's doing. I wasn't at Harlan's level with it. I was just a shop worker, but we did a lot of work for Cisco back in the day.
So B Dog says women probably sell better on Whatnot. Actually, there you couldn't be farther from the truth. I don't think it has anything to do with women. It's more about personality. It's more about
I think
people.
it has to
It's
do with what you're
personality,
selling.
and it's consistency. It's what you're selling. There's so many things. Just to narrowly say it's women is not. That's not okay. For women on Poshmark, I can agree with, but not Whatnot is
Whatnot smartly catered to a younger audience when they first started.
correct.
And so if you're selling shoes, and if you're selling video games, things of that nature, I think you're going to do really well over there. If you're selling random junk like I sell, yeah, maybe not so much. There are sellers who do that there and do well. But for me, it's not my platform.
So Lag says there's a lot of drop shipping from Walmart. I'm not sure about that, Lag. There could be.
I'm not familiar enough with the platform to know. Probably, just like any other platform.
So Tamer says there's loads of Walmart cars waiting. When I go in the middle of the day, there'll be 8 or 10 cars, but they've got 50 spots marked off, and the spots like 25 through the last half of them. There's never. I park in those spots because man, the hell with them.
You're my nemesis. Anyway,
I always park farther. I don't park close up.
There are different apps that people use to pick up from Walmart for through deliveries. Roadie is one of them. Uber Eats is one of them. Point Pickup is one of them. So there's a bunch of different companies. I think eventually, not every Walmart has Spark drivers like me, but most of them do nowadays. And I think eventually the other platforms will, they're under contract with them right now, but eventually that'll go away and it'll just be Walmart.
Hustle and Grow. I meant to catch y'all last night, but I fell asleep in the recliner. Old men should never be there should be a tag on them. Old men. You should not have recliners in your house because they are nap machines, is what they are.
The stupid office chair is a nap machine for me.
Because I know you guys do a Tuesday night show talking about Walmart. But that's perfect thing for Walmart. Great addition to what you do if you can build it in. Like Dave Jarvis, I know the stuff that Dave sells. He moves quite a bit of stuff over there too. Find an outlet for your stuff, folks. If it doesn't change a lot, it could completely change your business. But if it's something that you can work into, but I know that everybody tells me the platform is very difficult to deal with. That getting changes made, and because they're still in the Wild West days of trying to implement their system. So you'll have some headaches, but I know quite a few people that sell quite a bit over there. Mr. E, why did you miss? I said it's beginning to. I said that it begins to die. I didn't say it was dead. It's just more fees, man. We're checking the very first of the show. We talked about they're implementing distribution fees and low inventory fees. Just more fees on top of fees on top of fees for Amazon.
Lag doesn't always have great things to say. However, Lag asked me if there's a service for picking up Facebook Marketplace purchases. If you were a smart person and you had a way to do it, you could make an app just for that. And people would sign up. Man, that could be the next great app, Lag. You should do it.
Okay, so the cashier should be your first step, but remember, most of the cashiers you run into are on their phone. They're worried about whatever. They're not your greatest source. Sometimes they do know, but maybe a manager. But even that, a change in. There's something happening. A clearance ticker is you've got to investigate. What the clearance? Why is it going on clearance? It might be just that the store's no longer going to carry this brand or carry this item. But for the most part, I can tell you, for most major brands, it's one of two options. It's either a package change or a discontinue of a particular fragrance or a size or a something. There's something going on with that product that it's an opportunity, because a lot of people will look at it and want the old packaging because okay, so there's some stuff that I was selling, and that they changed the packaging, but they changed the formula when they changed the packaging, and people want the old formula because they hate the new formula, and they will pay you a lot more money for the old formula. So understand, just because the package changed, you also need to figure out, did anything else change with the packaging, because most of the time it's package and a formula. They don't just change packaging because so if you got one item that's on clearance, they're not going to change the packaging on one item when it matches all the rest of their stuff. If it's a package change, generally the whole line is on clearance. If that makes sense. Let's see. No, Sean, they're definitely, if you're willing to sit through a lot of whatnot, you can definitely find inventory to sell 100%. Michigan Girl says she's killing on whatnot. Whatnot's just a different opportunity, folks. You need it's the same as anything else. Learn what makes Walmart tick. See the people that are successful and do what they do. You know, the biggest thing I know on whatnot is be very consistent. You know, there are a lot of people like me. I look at whatnot and if they haven't built the auction up and they just show a table and go, "What do y'all want me to run?" I'm out of there, because I'm not going to sit around and waste my time while people figure out what they want me to run. But if you got a seller who sells the stuff that you like or that kind of stuff, there is a huge opportunity for sure.
I'm guessing with whatnot, just like eBay and Amazon and any other platform, it's what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it eventually. If you take the time and tell everybody what's in this auction and have lot numbers and all that, I don't know how it runs. I've only briefly looked into whatnot, but and have pictures and do all that stuff, you're going to have a much better sale than somebody who says, "Tell me what to run." Always.
So I put that on there. 9:12 a.m. Steve, positive comment.
I say positive comments all the time.
And if I had a big social following, I would be on whatnot in a heartbeat.
But
I think that helps. Yeah.
So that's just one factor. People say that a lot, but then you go over there and look and go, there's so many big sellers on and so many sellers on whatnot that are successful that you've never heard of. They don't have social followings. They built the audience because they deliver good products, and they're very consistent, and people know to bookmark these auctions because they're going to be selling. I mean, there's a lot of pallet sellers that sell electronics and stuff on there. They don't have big audience. They have consistency because they know, they figured out what makes whatnot work.
Whatnot in itself is a social platform. It's a social media platform, just like any other. You just happen to be selling things. That's all. It's like YouTube, but you're selling stuff. So,
Jeff, I was there quite a few years ago. Congratulations on getting serious about it. It's a 100% doable thing, and there are a lot of naysayers out there. You know, I put the death of retail arbitrage. It's a title to get people to come in here. There's some truth to it, but it just changes what you do. You know, does that mean it's time to sell FBM? I mean, you've got to make decisions that are good for your business. Just try to present my thoughts on it, and the chat has done a really nice job today of as always, except for lag's
I had one good, but other than
lag's more disruptive than normal today. Sky's the limit. It's 100%, man. I've sold so much stuff because it's in the old package. You just can't imagine. People are set in their ways. They want what they want. They want what they've used because it works. And at some point, they decide they will pay whatever it takes to have the last of that.
My wife bought some shampoo that we heard was going to be discontinued. You want to know how many bottles of that shampoo we bought? Not for resale, for her. We bought probably 75 bottles of that stuff just so that she has enough for the rest of her life.
So I know Dawn and Mary, the ladies, they sell and whatnot, and they do shows same time every week, and then she says preloading yourself. Allow people to look and see what they've got available. They'll look in there and go. They'll hang around to buy something. And I know people talk about giveaways over there, and those kind of things work. And so there's things you can do to build whatnot. Just by blaming it on a social. Now, not having a social media following does help.
It helps. Yeah. But it's not the end all be all, though.
Correct.
It can't be. I could have a great social media following, but if I'm still selling crap on whatnot, I'm not going to make that. I still make money. I'll make more maybe than the average person selling crap. But
I do not. So, Scott, I do not use videos.
I do sometimes.
Whatever YouTuber said 20%, they lied to you. I bet it's closer to like 5% use videos. Probably. I rarely see a video. I bet it's closer to 5%.
When I have item that I think would benefit from a video, I'll do it, like the Jemmy dancing hamsters or whatever. Those things I'll always do a video so people can see how it's working.
You don't have anybody to kick out your house in the cold this morning?
Speaking of dancing hamsters.
No, but I'm trying to figure out why that's happening.
What's that?
The gallons per minute. It keeps running for the last 2 hours.
You got a leak somewhere.
Either that or just a bunch of people showering, and I'm trying to make sure everybody gets off to work before.
Some long showers there.
Hey, tell them they need to go to work dirty every now and then. It's okay.
Well,
tell them the raw dog at to work every now and then. Save a little water.
So it monitors the entire building all at one time. So there's 9 units in the building. So I have to be a little careful because it could be multiple people showering because most of them are still here.
So here's a Michigan girl. She doesn't have a big following. She's here a lot, and we appreciate that. Good products, fast shipping, all-use packaging. Preloading consistently. And then people will follow you because it's not a shock. People like following good sellers they can count on that do what they say they're going to do and when they're going to do it, and very consistent. And they build habits where they were tuned in. These are not secrets, folks. This stuff is work. This is time tested stuff. This is not.
If you are a seller who and this is going to be a genius point that I just came up with. If you're a seller who just throws shit at the wall to see what sticks, the only thing that's going to stick is shit. That's the way it is. There you go. You wrote that one down.
9118, Steve.
Copyright. I copyright that.
9118, Steve. Genius.
There you go.
There you go. But
it's true.
And so much I've heard about whatnot is this is what it is. People will go over there and they don't have a following and they put their first show up and stuff doesn't sell for what they thought it was because they only have a few people watching, and they go, man, whatnot sucks. I lost money on whatnot. It sucks. And they quit, and they never gave it a chance. They never understood about building an audience and consistency and all these things. And they probably didn't set the auction up. There's probably so much to it. And you go, remember when you were a brand new seller on whatever platform is your main platform now? Did you come out the gate and be this immediately were the greatest seller? You didn't. It took time to build and took time to learn. What's the one thing that you had to do as an eBay seller? You had to learn how to make a listing. You had to learn how to ship. You had to learn how to do all these things. We forget that we were all new once. And, I didn't become the master box maker, crafter and painter that I am without years of experience.
By the way, I bought a can of that from you, and I am disappointed because I didn't realize it was glossy.
Look at this quality. How long does it take to be able to stencil an airplane like this on a quality toaster pastry box?
Where your fingers were the stencil.
It actually came out really nice. Not the airplane part.
I actually got a comment of somebody talking about I'm going to make another video today, so y'all look for the next in the box series, because this next one is going to be
honey buns.
Yeah, it's not honey buns, but it's something else. But this is another great idea for boxes that you can buy at Dollar Tree. next one will be out this afternoon.
And you get the benefit. You get the benefit of eating the honey buns, as well as getting a free shipping. I mean,
you're getting lots of praise. That was deep, Steve. There you go. Tactical Z. He stopped his OnlyFans show to tell you that was deep.
Deep enough.
Thank you. I come up with a gem once every 8 years.
Hey, that's
we've been doing this.
You could revive the YouTube channel with just shorts, words of wisdom from Steve.
When somebody said that was the first thing that popped into my mind.
Because what was it? What was that show that they used to say Deep Thoughts? Now Deep Thoughts.
Deep Thoughts was with Jack Handy.
Yeah.
Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy. I actually have thought about that for years, doing a Jack Handy style, but yeah, I never did it. I should.
So, Mission Girl, I thank you for saying that, but it's common sense. It's what works on one platform. It's going to be a variety of something different. They are just it's just a little different. But it's still, at the end of the day, it's still how do you build a great eBay store? It's consistency in listing. It's consistency in pricing. It is delivering on good products that builds good feedback. It is shipping quickly, shipping effectively, shipping securely. All these things apply to Amazon. Has different rules, but I still have to have great products. I have to follow the rules. I still have to ship them on time. I still have to deliver a good product, or they're going to send it back. Whatnot. I mean, all these platforms have a little bit of different rules, a little bit of a different angle, but the basics are still the basics. They apply to every platform. If you sell crap on any of these platforms and don't deliver to the customer, it gets very punitive, and the platforms want you to go away. Whether it's they don't show your items anymore, whether it's they give you strikes, there's different ones. eBay will go snap you on the wrist and go, "Hey, we maybe didn't know. Please don't do that. Please don't do that." And they'll finally go, take 3 days off and think about it. Takes up. Amazon goes, "You suck. Tell us why you should ever sell on here again." Whatnot might be a little different. They go, "Hey," you just won't have an audience be over there because you get a bad reputation. But reselling hadn't changed. The platforms have changed, and there's different rules, but the basics are still the basics. What size box do I use for printers? Yes.
Mm-hmm. We use
the one that fits.
Because the problem is, Mark, there's no League of Printer rulers out there that go, every printer must be this. The printers come in all shapes and sizes, and so the box that works.
Those boxes probably work.
So yesterday I did use an 18, 18, 16. I also used a the 21, whatever is the Home Depot when they're different now. Two VCRs I actually had to. One was a dual player, was a touch longer, so I had to make that box. Because I had a 16/16/9 that had to become a 2012 or 1912 or whatever it had to become. Because it was taller.
Cha-ching.
It's whatever. I try to give a couple inches around it.
Mark's next comment is hilarious.
Pack it really tight.
It was a typo. Not that comment. He says always feels like the box is an inch too small after cramming people in there.
Oh damn.
We knew there was something wrong with you, Mark.
Okay,
now
so
we know.
So one thing I do that maybe a lot of people don't do, Mark, and I especially do this for VCRs, the weakness on these machines is that they get dropped on their corners. So I have a junk box or somewhere that I'll cut the lids and sides off. I reinforce the corners by putting like a 12-inch piece, cut it, fold it in half and put it in the corner. And so I put all four corners, have an extra piece so as I've got it real tight in there, and then I shove the cardboard inside it to like double wall the corners. I found that works very well.
I got to write down my deep thought from earlier because I'm going to forget it.
when you throw shit at the wall, sometimes shit sticks.
Okay.
Sometimes you just have a shitty wall.
There you go. Yeah.
So you take like a piece like this and you fold it in half, and then what I do is I just cut.
I do it the other way. Oh yeah, that way.
And that way I get my corner. I don't know if that's what you're trying to, what you're saying. Because then I have a corner that goes in. Okay, it's not quite square, so
That's
okay, there we go.
I don't go to that much trouble.
But that took what, 30 seconds? Not even that.
Nope.
I do like that. I'm gonna
5
start using.
seconds.
I'm gonna start cutting that out like that. I do that. That actually does a lot.
That's a good idea. Yep.
But normally I don't have a box right here. Normally
Such a simple thing. Such a simple thing to do to help protect something.
Yeah. And this was just one of those flaps that I cut off somewhere, and so it's just I have a pile of them laying here because I use them this way.
I do the same thing. Anytime I cut a bigger box down, I keep on the flaps just because I use those for points.
Yeah.
I think my wife threw all my flaps away. I don't see them because the cat likes to sit where I store them because there's a heater behind it, or the register, and yeah, she threw them all away so the cat would have a spot.
But if you're
I've been doing that for a few years. Not that Foley thing, but I've been using.
If you're very good at the basics, though, you can resell anywhere. It works. Okay, so but beer, I just do the flea market. If you're not at the flea market, if you don't talk to people, if you don't have good items that people want, all these same principles apply, except you can eliminate the shipping part. But other than but then you the in person thing is much more valuable. It's the basics. It's items that people want. Get them in front of people. Which each platform has a strength. What's the strength of the platform you're looking for? And then learn the rules. And there's two reasons I learn the rules. I always talk about learn the rules. You learn the rules so that you can, because most people won't. You take advantage where the rules are. You take advantage of the rules. The great example is when they said 30 days, I went to 60 days because they allow 60 days because 60 days means less returns. And knowing that you're allowed to do that and knowing how effective that is, will increase your sales.
All my trees have 60 days.
Which makes sense.
Yep. Because
I mean, you get back, Jake.
I don't normally hardly ever get any returns. But once in a while, somebody will say, "Hey, some of them didn't make it. Can you send me some new ones?" And I do. Depending on the scenario, I'll ask them to pay the shipping or something, but I'll send them free replacements without charge, depending on the scenario. But the thing I learned is that in my category is a little maybe unique in some ways, but maybe not so much in others. Is at 30 days, people are a little antsy. Will my tree make it? But at 60 days, they'll either have made it and be good, or they won't. And so that's why I increased mine to 60 days as soon as it became available.
That makes
Why don't
perfect
you just
sense.
put in a few extra? How much more would it cost to do that?
Correct, I do.
Oh, okay.
I always do. Yep.
If you
always
got an order for 10, why don't you just put in 12?
Correct. Yeah. So I always put in at least 10% extra, sometimes, or at least 2 or 3 extra, depending on how many that there are in the order.
That just raises your cost. How can you afford that? Oh, wait a minute. That don't cost anything. Never mind.
So I know we're not ready to do our book review yet, but there's a good answer to that in that book that we were supposed to have read and I'd listened to.
No, you got all month. So if y'all don't know what Steve's talking about, Profit First by Mike. There you go. That book right there. There's a link in the description below if you want to find it on Amazon or you can find it on eBay or wherever. So idea we had a couple weeks ago to really increase our business thinking, and I'm looking forward. I just started. I fell asleep reading it last night, so I fell asleep. Yeah, I might start drinking coffee or something.
There's a lot of numbers in that book, Scott. You sure you're okay with that part? There's some mathing you have to do. I didn't do the mathing.
Mathing is hard. Yes. So, and then we'll spend a couple nights or whatever it takes to discuss it. one of the ladies has suggested it and is using it. Well, she said she'd come on and help us talk about it too. Is there an audio version? Yeah, there's an audio version. Like Amazon's got an audio version.
Also,
It's available on Audible, I think.
It's also available on YouTube, but it's some weird AI guy. That's the version I listen to. So I've ordered the book through my library, but it's going to take some time. So hopefully it gets here before. Then I'll listen to the thing with the real author. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm waiting for
spend 8 hours a day in the car. It makes more sense for me to do it that way.
Yeah.
Josh, I've heard from several people that the custom SKU is broken, but it is one of those random kind of things. It's not broken for everybody.
Is that eBay or Amazon?
Custom SKU?
Yeah, that's only eBay, right?
Amazon,
well, you can make a custom SKU on Amazon. It's just the SKU.
It looks like Norman Lear died at 100 today. 101.
There's some 100-year-olds dying this year. Who was the other one?
Oh, Lord, Johnny.
Oh, what's his name? Kissinger. Yeah.
What's the name again? Lear. What's his name? He was
Kissinger was so old, I thought he was dead 20 years ago.
So we're wanting to know if the eBay custom SKU is dead. Let's use my listing phone now. I lost this all day yesterday. I was so mad. I'm like, I've taken all the freaking pictures of this listing phone and I've lost the phone.
Don't you have Find My iPhone turned on?
It doesn't have service, so.
Well, that makes sense.
And it wasn't connected to the internet, even though it was connected to wireless, which didn't make a lot of sense either.
I lost my iPad one time. I can't say the name of the town because it's our secret sourcing town. But that's how I found it. Was where's my iPhone? And some foreign guy had it. Didn't speak a lick of English, but we got just enough of a translation in there for him to meet me somewhere, and he gave it back to me. But
so let's see. I'm gonna list. What's this Haynes book? We'll list something real quick.
I set it up on top of the car while I was loading the car.
34.
And because I used to use it for en route. And it got left on top of the car and it was in the middle of the road and he picked it up. He just happened to be working in that area. Took it back to the hotel and left it at the desk for me. I came all the way home because he had worked all day. And I had to drive all the way 2 hours back to get
that one like this. So you want to know if the custom SKU is broken on the phone.
No, it wasn't in Pennsylvania. It was in Ohio. That's all I'm going to say. It's when we go back to reselling, it's a town that we get a certain specific product that my wife likes to sell. And I would not sell, but she does. So I don't want to give that away.
That would be a negative, Ghost Rider. My custom SKU for this book is going to be broken.
I use a custom SKU field for every single thing I list on eBay. And it usually has the location. My wife uses it and puts the price she paid, the location, the date she bought it. So she has a certain way of doing it so she can read it easily. But
so Nicolette, aka Trina, listen because chairs are, and I don't want to talk about the chair. The point you should get for this is everybody has there's obstacles in your business. There's obstacles and the reasons why you don't do things you do, or how you can do things better. A lot of you're responsible for your own motivation. You're self-employed. There's nobody going to tell you when to do stuff. And so I would challenge you, figure out, my biggest thing was, I'm old. After dinner, I'd sit in a recliner and watch TV, or not TV, but watch videos or do whatever, catch up on internet and mess around. And then I wouldn't feel like coming back out here. And the nice thing about having this out here is it's almost like walking out here to a job. And so I wouldn't want to come back out here. So then I'm like, well, if I start taking pictures, a bunch of them on this phone, even though I lost it yesterday, when I'm sitting in there watching videos or sports or whatever, I can just be listing all the listings from the pictures. It's amazing how many more eBay listings I get up now because I effectively use the times that I'm sitting in the recliner.
Just out of curiosity, do you back them up to the iCloud? That would be another way to get them.
I don't want them to cross over to this one, and so
No.
this one has its own. I
Well,
made a new.
set up a new ID.
It's got its own Apple ID, so I could have got
Yeah.
it from the cloud if I want. I didn't lose. I just lost the phone.
I
was
only
mad.
ever do it that way. I don't transfer them straight to the computer. I get them out of the cloud. It's easier for me.
So I was mad because I'd ordered a new case for it. So, you know, the iPhone 12 is where MagSafe came in, and so I keep having to plug this one in to charge it. But they make cases for this XS Max that are MagSafe cases that actually work. So I had just ordered a new case. I'm like, how do you order a new case for a phone that you turn around and lose?
You want to know what I did? In my car, everything is black. I had a black case on my phone.
I'm so
I
mad
lose it
that
all the time,
a red
so I made
case.
it orange.
I'm probably going to order another $5 case for this thing.
Orange.
It's going to be some bright color so I don't lose it.
It made sense for me to do this, and it matches my car. So, yeah, I lost that thing so many times. You know, I could find it easily, but I'm in the car and I forget it in the car. I don't ever forget it now because it's orange and I can see it.
But yeah, Trina, you're 100% correct, and I don't. We overlook the simplest things, and your success could be one tweak in your life away. We just, you know, if you say you have trouble doing this, have trouble remembering things or making lists, you know, figure out how to overcome that. Figure out your things that you can use on the phone. There's a reason why I don't like the iPhone as much. I'm kind of mad that the 24 is coming out with all this crazy AI and stuff it's going to do, and I've got the new iPhone. But then I remember, wait a minute, why do you have the iPhone? Because when I take notes on any one of my devices, I always have my notes with me. You know, if I want to make a change, if I want to do stuff, the environment with which how I've come used to using this phone on all my devices makes me much more effective. And so just switching back to the iPhone has been better for me personally and in my business because I don't lose as much. I use the note, and I've got some in the notes. I've got so many notes, and whether I'm in the house on that MacBook or in here or out here on this one, it puts it on my phone. If I'm going to review stuff, I know what I'm doing. Adding the calendar, the environment of the phone changes because I have all my crazy ass thoughts with me that I've put down on something. So it could be something very simple that's holding you back. And your job as a self-employed small business owner is to figure out what is that obstacle in your way. What is causing you from being great? What is causing you from reaching your goals? Oh, wait a minute, you didn't set goals? You know, we'll talk a lot about setting goals here in the next few weeks because now's the time. Q4 is going to be over and before you know it. And the weakness of a lot of self-employed resellers in Q1, they'll tell you the first thing they'll go is, I don't sell hardly anything in January. It's the worst month of the year. Well, everybody takes time off. Everybody quits. They don't have any inventory. They haven't planned for it because they've been too busy with Q4 that they didn't take a few minutes to think about what the hell happens after Christmas. It's amazing if you change just a few things, how effective you could be.
The way I've been thinking about it lately is, and here's where I failed in my eBay business is, yeah, I said I treated it like a business. I didn't. There's no way. I didn't work 8 hours a day. I didn't put the time and effort. It takes me an hour to list 10 items. I mean, and that was my goal for the day was 10 items. That's stinking thinking, according to Stuart Smalley. If this is your main source of income, you better treat it as your main source of income.
Well, the one thing I can tell you, a simple change for that, Steve, is, and it's been taught a lot of these people that can make a lot of money to motivate you to put it to the top of the list. The things that you don't want to do but are so necessary in your business, do it first. If listings on eBay are what drive your business, do listings before you do anything else. You know, but Beard, I get at 8 o'clock in the morning, I get distracted by this and I get busy and I have to do this. Well, get up an hour earlier and do the damn listings. You know, make it a priority. But I might not get an hour's sleep. That tells me you don't want it bad enough.
for the future, my main concern is there needs to be a set hour of numbers a day that I work, just like I'm doing with the Spark stuff. I work a set number of hours. Sometimes I work a little longer, almost never shorter. And there needs to be some sort of schedule. Okay, at 8 a.m. I do this. At 9 a.m. I do this, or whatever. What? Kind of another message. Oh, that's from the people who I sent the wrong thing to. So I never did it that way. I just come in this office, I watch a bunch of YouTube videos, I list a few things, I watch some more YouTube videos, I look up an item here and there, and I watch some more YouTube videos. That's all it really ever was.
Yep.
So I need to change that going forward when I go back into reselling full time.
Hey, good morning, Todd. How are you doing?
And I will. Because I could have been so much more successful if I had just treated it like a real business.
I was waiting to see if you read the chat, Jacob.
Young Todd.
Yeah, not to be confused with the old Todd. So you're going to explain to him what you're muted, Jacob.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. The 6-foot trees. Yeah, we'll
She asked what kind of what's your business model? What trees do you ship? He doesn't ship trees.
sticks of tree cuttings for growing willows. 20, 100, 1,000, however many. But I go outside and cut them off a tree and make them pretty, about this big.
So sky's the limit. It's a good question. Do you have to hold a year before you sell it? It all depends on the item and the demand. There's no right or wrong answer. There's no simple in a year it'll be worth a ton more, in 3 weeks it'll be worth a ton more. At the end of the day, it's all economics, and the stuff that they should be teaching you in school and business classes. Supply and demand. It's as long as it takes for the supply to dry up. So if it's an item that there's a lot of supply out there, it could take much longer. And if it's an item that is not as much of a popular item, but it has a fringe popularity, and it doesn't take long for the supply to dry up. It just depends on how long as the supply dries up, the price curve goes way up. Every item is completely different.
The funny thing is, when I listened to that book that that we're going to be reading, I was already doing a lot of things that he says. Not all of them, but a lot of the things. I'm not sure that I would follow the full program, but there's a lot of words of wisdom in that, and you can learn. It's very Dave Ramsey-ish, the style, but for business.
I'm like, man, I took the sweatshirt off because I got hot in here, and why is it cold in here all of a sudden? Can you believe the dogs did not close the door when they left? What kind of dogs am I racing? The wind is blowing straight in from the doors right over there. I'm like, the heater's running too. It was nice and comfortable out here until those little monsters came out here. But it's
So this just sold.
very nice.
I paid $62.50 at the estate sale.
Nice.
A lot of people are scared to pay up for stuff, but $62 into $175 is okay, I think.
I got a theory
Right.
about that. I don't know if you want to hear my theory, but I got a theory about that. Oh, and I'm sitting here playing with a pen. 2 hip chicks.
Too.
There it
I
is.
used to be one of those. I used
They-
to be one of those who was afraid to pay up for stuff.
They-
And when
they
I
saw
learned
a
the
doc-
difference,
They saw a dachshund apron and sent it to Johnny.
I think
they-
it's pretty cool.
So I got merchandise while Johnny got an apron.
This ring is class of 1919.
Nice.
So you want, so a lot of people are scared to buy more expensive products because they're scared of returns or scared, And the other thing I'm going to tell you I hope it doesn't hurt too many people's feelings. There are a lot of resellers out there that just can't afford to buy that kind of inventory. Can't and sit on it for that long. They need something that'll because I have a theory that the reason why, on top of people not knowing the fees and they're selling stuff at losses, is there's people that cut their prices just to sell something because they have spent money on inventory they didn't have, and so they need that money back to pay a electric bill or whatever. And so I think there are a lot of people out there that are just struggling so much that and trying anything to make it and learning to do resale at it.
I think ideally,
But that kind of pressure is tough.
in the end, what I've always wanted to do was I have some things that I just sell quick, fast nickel, and some things that are slow dime. And you have to learn how to decide which one's which. But in the beginning,
Okay.
when I go back, it's all going to be fast nickel stuff because I'll need to build that back up.
I find the things that I'm a very in my especially the things that I like. I'm a very good evaluator of inventory. My weakness is I'm not a very good lister of inventory. And I
Me
need to
either.
I need to, we all have, and, really each one of you should do a SWOT analysis on yourself and really it's important to know what your strengths are because you play into your strengths, but it's equally enough to know what your weaknesses are and what you're doing about that to offset stuff that, somebody mentioned procrastinate. I think it was Tactical Z, Mr. OnlyFans. I am a terrible procrastinator. I have been my entire life. And so I fight that battle. So between struggling to listing and procrastinating, that's an awful combination. Put that in one of your videos, Steve. Words of
I'm really
wisdom.
considering doing those, by the way. My mind has been churning ever since. Now, I'll forget everything I thought of in the next 10 minutes, but at least right now I'm thinking about it.
I think too, another thing is we expect everything to be rosy, and I don't know how many of us, and myself included, are honest with ourselves enough to admit that we have faults. Nobody in the day and age, everybody, everybody wants to throw shade, and so it's hard to be honest in the first place, and then honest with yourself to admit that you are not, that you need work in certain areas, and so that's why I'm excited about Profit First. I'm excited about reading 8 or 10 or 12. The book after that's going to be about processes. I forget the name of it, but I've got it on my computer, and just to help with personal development, I think we can each, the encouragement this group can give each other to read the books and then go over the high points, but then also make it important that Profit First is only successful as you apply lessons to your business and your life. And so you got to be receptive to that kind of stuff and willing to look at yourself honestly and go, you know what, maybe I do need help. Maybe you know what I mean? It's a tough one. Ron says if you forget everything in 10 minutes, you'll have new quotes every day, Steve. So that's
Do
awesome.
the same one every day. That's the biggest issue. My mind is coming up with one. Where does the second one
That would
come
be
from?
funny to post the same video like 7 times in a row, just say it different. Would be the same bit. That would be funny.
I need somebody who does a good voiceover to do an introduction for me.
I don't think it's a self help book. It's probably a self help for business. It's much focused on profit in your business.
The way I thought about it is, and I said it earlier, it's like a Dave Ramsey but for business almost. It's a similar type of mentality. He mentions Dave Ramsey a lot in that book, and Susie Orman. So if you're familiar with those people, this will be a similar type of thing, except for business.
So the eBay Power Hour podcast. Good morning, guys. That must be, since we've seen Josh, that must be the other half. That must be John. So you can check those guys out. They put out a new every Saturday. They put out a new podcast. Sometimes Saturday morning.
Yeah, and that's all we're going to get out of Josh because he's taking a break from YouTube.
I know Josh has abandoned us at our time of need.
I know.
How am I going to ship items today without listening to Josh?
I know.
It's going to be terrible. I could,
Oh, I'm sure you'll get by.
Harlan, I could tell you who Dave Ramsey is, but it would bring back images of you and your long lost other half.
I have a book that you might be familiar with by that man.
So John is going
I even have
live.
an autograph on that book, not by Dave Ramsey either.
So Flippin' 80s, John going live in 10 minutes. So you guys follow him. If you need something to listen to while you're working in 10 minutes, he will be live. And then he is recording. He and Josh are recording the podcast tonight. And I was told I think John mentioned it the other night, Monday night, that they had a special guest. So the next podcast will have a special guest.
By the way, I got to say,
They were very secretive. They were very secretive about the guest, so you'll have to listen to the episode.
John is flipping ain't easy, right?
John is flipping ain't easy. He's also an eBay Power Hour.
It takes a lot of gumption to admit when you're wrong, especially on YouTube. And he did this week, and that was pretty good stuff, man. Not that you were wrong. You're right about everything you said, except for that it's a policy that we're going to get. But to admit that and do a follow-up video as quickly as you did.
Oh, I had another one. I caught myself in it. So this would be a good way to close it out.
I think my biggest issue with YouTubers or even anybody really is that when you make a statement publicly and then you double down on that statement, even though you know you're wrong, you justify it in your head why you're right. And you didn't do that. You came out and said, hey, listen, I might have been wrong about this.
I had an item that I listed that got taken down. Where'd it go?
By the way, that policy, we should all be following that stuff anyway.
I had a video that I made. So I picked up a knife. It's made out of, it had Ninja on the blade. And I'm like, this looks kind of cheap. It was $2. So I made a video of this thing. So I found that there's no sales on eBay, but but I found a website that sold one for $180. It's made from Japanese 550 steel or something. Really nice little knife, but it is a butterfly knife, and I didn't realize that because
you can't sell those.
You can't sell a butterfly knife because there are certain states that you're not allowed to sell them because, God forbid, you sell something in the United States of America that's legal to sell.
So I believe Pennsylvania is one of those states. My brother had one, just a cheap version with plastic handles, and the
so this one. I mean, this was really nice. But, it's stainless. It's got a nice blade. I mean, Japanese steel is really high quality. And so now what do you do? I'm going to run it through the auction. That's where it is since it's in the auction.
Yeah, she confiscated his knife. Even though it was a cheapy carnival version, it was bad. There was no sharpness to it. He wasn't threatening anybody with it. But one of the other kids in the neighborhood saw the knife and they called the police on him. Stupid.
Damn it.
They used to call the police on us for the most ignorant things.
All right. I think I've got a picture of it. Oh, yeah. I have pictures of it because I probably deleted the pictures. That's another thing. I didn't want so many pictures on this phone either. So there's a little bitty blade. It's only like 3 inches.
Ninja.
It looks kind of cheap. It says Ninja. But then if you look, the thing that made me look it up to see what it was worth, anything made in the USA, it's got a little age. It was made in the 80s. So it said that on the side of it. And then you look at the other side. And, Japan is famous for their steel and their swords and that kind of stuff. So made me look it up. So now I want to run it through the. I don't do international shipping, PNG. So now I'm going to. I'm gonna sell it at a local auction as soon as I figure out what I did with it.
That's probably your best bet. Yeah.
I had it yesterday.
Lag wants to buy it from you, so maybe we can finally identify who Lag is.
Right. It is a.
He'll just ship it to his mom's house.
Right.
He lives in his mom's basement.
He'll ship it to like a UPS store or something. Or one of
We'll
those
never
mailbox
know
stores.
that it's his mom's house.
Because I don't think it's much.
It goes through a series of addresses before.
It's only a little small. It's only a little small thing. It has a little brass end on it. It's not very big. I mean, it's only what 4 inches. It's only like 4 inches. But yeah,
Use my address, then I get to sell it.
that thing got taken down pretty quick. And as long as I've been selling on there, I don't sell knives. I don't know anything about knives. I didn't pay attention to the fact that, a butterfly. Who would have thought a butterfly knife would? I mean, because I know switchblades and that kind of stuff where they've got mechanisms in them, but a butterfly knife doesn't have a mechanism.
It's just because you can do fancy things with it. I think.
It's so scary. Is that what it is? It's another thing like
You can make it spin. And I remember the old Ninja when they made the butterfly knives do things. Yeah.
Well, the listing that the guy had said that he said it was it's a knife site. He said it's well balanced, but he's not a flipper, so he didn't know how well it flipped. So I guess that's what he meant by being able to do tricks with it.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah.
So I mean, even me, who's been reselling since 2000 on and off, gets an item taken down every now and then. Yeah, John, that's true. Your experience about these kind of things, where you live, controls a lot about the way you see things, and it's true. I've lived in the South all my life. You don't think anything about a knife. It's just a knife.
Well, even here, used to be, there was kid when I went to high school had a gun rack in his car and had a gun in it all the time. I mean, there was no thoughts about that, but the rules up here now are different than maybe they are. I don't know what it's like in the South. Probably not a good thing down there either.
Is there anybody in the chat that didn't want to leave high school on the way home and go hunting on the way home? Am I the only one?
I wasn't even in that rural of an area, but it was just not, things have changed. We could carry knives to school. There was no, I remember by the way, my shop teacher, who was my favorite teacher of all time, I failed his class, but he would just sit there and he would sit there. He's the only reason I graduated high school. All right. Because even though I failed his class, he could have gave me an incomplete. And if he had given me an incomplete, I would have to get another whole year of school because they don't offer shop class in summer school. So, yeah. So, but anyway, he passed away this week. But we would take knives into class with us and sit there and show them to him, because he was a knife guy. And there was no issue with that stuff back in those days. But today, oh my gosh, you can't even mention the word in school or put it on eBay, apparently.
We'll play show and tell, then we're out of here. Last thing.
How do you fail shop class? Well, we were making jack stands. It was industrial arts, and the last step was welding.
So
and I was afraid to weld because my stepdad was a welder, and I did not want to end up like that. I did not want to be a welder, so I wouldn't do it. That's how I failed.
I sold this. It was at a yard sale. I think I paid $3 for it. Anybody ever seen a Bondro board? I got 40 plus shipping, or 46 plus. This right here. Look, somebody asked me how I tried it. I'm like, this right here looks like I would be dead. It's got wheels on the bottom of it that are about balancing. It's the size of a skateboard. Can you imagine? I'm in my 50s. Bones take way a lot. I'm supposed to balance on this without killing myself? No, I have not tried it, but it is.
I would give it a shot, but I would probably end up in the hospital.
So why did I look this up? Because I'd never seen one before, and I'm like, man, that thing's really weird. It's made really well. I'm like, I bet somebody wants this. So I got 46 plus shipping. But it's.
So, I looked on eBay and these weren't listed. I thought, dang, I listed that 4 years ago. And
talk about slow time.
I know. I just sold this one. I paid $10 for 50 of them. And this one sold for $8 plus shipping. But yeah, go back and look at your store every once in a while. Make sure your 5-year-old listings are still there.
Yeah, that's so Mike. Of course, Mike knows. It is a ball. That's what that ballet song. That's what that blade was.
Hey Todd, that might
So
have been
there
a
it-
better Amazon item.
I don't do
So
Amazon,
40
but I get your point.
So it took probably
I'm just saying. Yeah.
it took maybe 4 or 5 months to sell it. It's just been hanging out in the building, but let's see what shipping I actually got on it. It's going maybe it's going to Akron, so maybe they'll let you try it. See,
Yeah, I just take a trip.
so it actually got 48 plus 21 shipping. So
Oh, now I know exactly what that is. Okay, I've seen those before. Those little projectors, aren't they?
Yeah. It projects SpongeBob. And it's got a little sensor for you have to cover it up to get it to light up. You can see the light coming off.
Yeah.
all right, everybody, go check out Flipping Ain't Easy. John's gonna go live here in a minute. I gotta go make some breakfast so I can get the shipping. I got 17 to ship. Hopefully we'll see you Friday night. Some more nonsense.
Stay
That's
tuned for words of wisdom from the Sweetwater legend.
Hey, come Friday night to see if Dave falls asleep again on the show. There you go.
Oh, I missed it. Damn.
Dave fell asleep on the show, and Granny called him out. Granny's like, "Are you asleep?" He
Was
played
Pat
along.
D? Good thing Pat D's wasn't listening. He'd be calling him and making sure he was alive. And
Oh yeah, he was definitely asleep. He was out. Roll Tide.